All right, you know what it is. It's ride time on CM Punk. Punk returned at Survivor Series 2023, and the feel in that arena, seriously, felt generational. Definitely felt like something that we've been missing for a real long time. However, since his return, his run has felt kind of directionless. Now, do we think that WWE dropped the ball? Were the fans expecting too much? Or is CM Punk just washed? What's good, everybody? I'm Wiser, back with another Think Piece Wrestling video, and that's what we do on this channel. If you like wrestling topics, go on ahead, check out the catalog. If it's something that's up your wheelhouse, hit the subscribe button. And for all my returning viewers, you know what we gotta do. We gotta run up the likes. In 2023, CM Punk returned at Survivor Series, and that crowd went kind of crazy. However, there was one person in the ring that was not happy to see CM Punk, and that's our good friend Seth Monday Night Rollins. That right there let us know exactly what direction we were going to be starting with this whole CM Punk thing. Now, when he came back, I was hyped for it. Why was I hyped for it? Because at that point in time, I want to say things were clicking pretty well in WWE. It was also at the same time that Randy Orton came back, but things were on the up and up. And then you got CM Punk, the wave of momentum almost felt unstoppable. So you figure they're not going to drop the ball with this. We just seen him in AEW. He had blood feuds, good promos, tons of fan reaction. So we figured, hey, maybe we would get that CM Punk here in WWE. Maybe he could give us that spin, that turn, that thing that we've been missing in WWE for a while, especially since we just saw it. However, what we got just not been it. Now, I've been under the impression the whole time that I feel like CM Punk has just been miscasted. He's a heel in a babyface's character, or in a babyface's persona. I don't think that fits him too well. So what do? We get him to lock horns with Seth Rollins, who I believe was champion at the time. You can correct me if I'm wrong on that, but I believe Seth Rollins was the champion. So okay, let's start a feud, but are we going to put the title on CM Punk so early? If we are, how are we going to get there? Well, let's enter the Royal Rumble. We get to the Royal Rumble. The last two guys is him and Cody Rhodes. And I'm like, all right, cool. Punk throws him over the ropes. We're off to the races for WrestleMania. And it was probably going to be a night one main event. So cool. CM Punk gets a win-win. Wins the Rumble, gets WrestleMania, gets to be a marquee match, gets to close night one. Sorry, Punk can't close night two, especially on your return. However, things didn't work out that way because of injury. All right, so everything that we had planned, we gotta run it back. I think that injury completely screwed over the CM Punk that we were going to get, because that CM Punk was supposed to be on a trajectory of championship. This was supposed to be a massive feud in WWE with Seth Rollins revolving around that title. Punk got hurt. We didn't know the timetable. So what do? Seth drops the title to Drew McIntyre at WrestleMania. Punk is there to cost Drew McIntyre his title because he beat him down, and now out comes Damian Priest. Damian Priest beats him for the title, and now that gets us into a feud with CM Punk and Drew McIntyre. Why? Well, because Seth needed to take some time off. That's why the belt went bye-bye. The problem with this is we're no longer revolving CM Punk around the title. See, now, does that take away the importance of CM Punk? You would think that sometimes people are above the belt. Sometimes you would say the man makes the belt doesn't make the man, and sometimes it's vice versa. So you can say, all right, CM Punk doesn't need to be in the title picture right now. But here's the thing. What exactly has CM Punk's goal been? We knew that before he left, he wanted to be the voice of the voiceless. I mean, that was his moniker. So that was a thing that a lot of people got behind, myself included. I was a Punk mark. I was a fan, just like a bunch of other people were. I believed in the message. It was almost in a sense reminiscent of the message that Stone Cold wanted to get across, which was, don't let the system beat you down. You can fight the system back. To me, clear as day message. But this Punk that we got back is as cookie cutter as you can be. I was trying to think of another word, but only curse words were going to come out, and I apologize, I couldn't get that one. So, okay, now we just have CM Punk that returns, and he's costing Drew the title, he's screwing over Drew. Drew can't do nothing about it because CM Punk's injured. Okay, cool. We couldn't spin him off with Seth because Seth is out on break. He needed it. I mean, that dude was just running through hell when he was champion. So finally Punk is healed, he gets Drew, right? And they had an excellent feud, which actually did give us a little bit of blood. He lost the first match, surprisingly. You got a cage match, there was blood, you got the four corners match, and the promos in between, the build up to the matches, all were hitting like the Punk that we wanted. Now, could it be because it was with Drew? Could it be? Could it be because he was with Drew? That's possible, because Drew is pretty good with turning chicken shit into chicken salad. Did I say that right? Making chicken salad out of chicken shit. I said it right, but it just wasn't the right. You get what I mean. So we're like, all right, Punk returned. Big pop. Punk got hurt. Aw. Punk gets a feud with Drew because Drew cost him his health at the Royal Rumble. So it does make sense that they started their feud. Drew, for some reason, didn't like Punk because of back in the day, allegedly. So the feud made sense, and it was a good feud. So we're thinking we are off to the races. This guy Punk can't miss. And then what did we get? We got a whole bunch of nothing for nearly 2 months, and then we add him into War Games. Why? Granted, we added him to War Games to build up for the next WrestleMania. And I understand that, but he kind of felt a little bit out of place in this match and in this story. Felt like a bit of a force to kind of get him in there. It also could be because they ain't have nothing else to do with the guy. Now, what do I think that they could have been doing in this time where CM Punk was just floundering around doing nothing? I don't know. How about we give him some TV matches? It's like every week this guy's coming out cutting promos. Cutting promos on who? I don't know. Nobody. He ain't got nobody to wrestle. How about we give the guy some matches? Oh, I don't know. Why is it we can't give him matches? Why not? Because we're doing it on house shows. We're giving all of the CM Punk matchups that we won't get to see on TV. We're giving him those on house shows. Now, who were in these house show matches? Let's rewind back a little bit. He had 2 back-to-back matches with Dom Mysterio. These was his warm-up matches just to get him back into WWE's ring shape. Not ring shape, but WWE's ring shape. I would love to see CM Punk and Dominic Mysterio. Why not? It's a matchup that we typically won't see. It probably was a lot of fun. And us as a viewing audience, sorry, we can't have nice things. I should make a shirt out of that. After that War Games, we had nothing for Punk for about the next month and a half. So what do we get? House show matches. We don't get to see him wrestle, but I guess if you were out on the holiday tour, then you got to see him wrestle. And who was he wrestling? You got matches with him and Ludwig, and you also got matches with him and Gunther. Why would we not want to see this? These are matches that we typically won't see on TV, especially with Kaiser. We know that Punk is going to win matches. These are matches that we can see and they could use to build up on his momentum. Do we get them? No. What do we get? Promos. WW promo. It's not even WW promo. Let me see. WPE. There it is. WPE, World Promo Entertainment. That's what this company is. Then we start off the year with Raw and Netflix, and we get the CM Punk and Seth Rollins match. Kind of felt a little bit out of place because, wait, this is a feud that we were looking forward to. And it felt like they kind of just rushed right into it. Now, granted, they had this match and it felt like open and shut case, but I guess this was their way of building blocks. I mean, the match had a clean finish. There was nothing to be questioned here. But if you let Triple H cook it, this was the start. You don't start a feud with a clean finish. Then we get the Royal Rumble. All right, Punk eliminates Seth and Roman. What's the other kid's name? Logan Paul eliminates Punk. CM Punk, Seth crashes out on Roman, and then him and Punk get into the fight. All right, so they're re-entering this feud because Seth doesn't want to take any losses to Punk. Makes all the sense in the world. So this is a feud that has just had a lot of heat ever since Punk left because of how Seth felt about him. And that's cool. We could build off of that. This should be a blood feud. Do we get it? Did we get blood? We got a cage match. Did we get blood? No. Not even in a cage match. Now, could it be? Could it be? Because Asprey and I forget the other guy's name had their cage match in AEW the night before and had blood and all kinds of craziness going on in that match. And WWE wanted to say, hey, we can have a really, really good cage wrestling match without all of the hoopla and blood and stuff. Wasn't that good, dog. Wasn't that good. And at some point, you people need to admit it. That shit was ass. Roman Reigns tosses Seth out of the cage. Now this sets up our triple threat for them. Okay. All right, cool. But let me do a bit of a rewind, because before that cage match, we had the Elimination Chamber. And now we're thinking, hey, maybe this is where CM Punk can set up his WrestleMania chance, right? I mean, he lost the Rumble. This is his only other chance in which he can get into the WrestleMania main event, is to win that Elimination Chamber. No, this was John Cena's story. Sorry, you get Seth. You get more Seth. Now, Punk jumps up and he wants to cut more promos. Now he's mad at The Rock. Now he's mad at Cena. He wants to cut these promos about how guys are not there and how they don't want it that much and yada, yada, yada. Just a bunch of fluff. Because again, by us just putting Punk in these nothing situations, we got the Drew feud. Cool. War Games. For what, son? Royal Rumble. For what, son? Now, granted, yeah, go in the Rumble, but you're not going to win. Why? Because Jey Uso. What? Timeout. Let me get this right. We have a golden opportunity to get Punk into the WrestleMania main event, in which he can choose whatever champion he wants. And we go with Jey Uso. Cool beans. Cool story, dog. So now we don't have him win the Rumble. We don't have him win the Elimination Chamber. And now he's still feuding with Seth. Now at this point, this feels like it's pointless. Roman Reigns comes. Okay, cool. Now we got Roman. Are we going to give CM Punk a... We're just shoehorning Punk into spots at this point. Instead of him earning a WrestleMania main event, we just give him. You see how all of this kind of kills his credibility? He comes in hot, gets injured. He gets with Drew, builds the momentum back up, ends that feud with a win. Cool. Then he does nothing. Then we get War Games. For what? Then we get nothing, where we should have got these matches that were on the house shows. We should have got to see him, but we get nothing. Sorry. Back to we get the Rumble. Again, you see the point that I'm making here? It's as if instead of creating momentum for CM Punk leading into WrestleMania, it's like they're cutting his wings off and just saying, hey, fly off your name. They gave this dude nothing to work with. So my question at this moment, just at this moment, everything leading into WrestleMania, is CM Punk at fault or is it booking? Me, I'm still under the impression that this dude is highly miscasted, because his promos have been pretty pick me, as the women say. So now, remember that cage match that I just talked about with him and Seth Rollins? Want to know the next time that we got to see CM Punk wrestle? Almost 2 months later at WrestleMania. We built his entire WrestleMania run from the time that he had his cage match with Seth to actual WrestleMania. We built that on no matches. Why? Because, I don't know, the people in the UK, they got to see the matches. They were all house show matches and dark matches. We didn't get to see any CM Punk matches. We didn't get to build any CM Punk momentum. Matter of fact, going into WrestleMania, last thing we saw was Punk losing the steel cage match. I mean, through no fault of his own, but he lost. So let me get this right. You lose at the Rumble. You lose at the Elimination Chamber. You lose the steel cage match. Then you go into WrestleMania. You lose at WrestleMania. Why should I care about this dude? What is CM Punk's direction? Because clearly he don't want a damn title. He don't want a title. He wants Seth. He wants Drew. At what point is this dude going to say, I want to be at the top? I want to be the best in the world. I don't know where my best in the world shirt is. I lost it. At what point is he going to want to be that dude? At some point, he could have wrestled Gunther. I mean, he's wrestling him all over the house shows. At some point, he could have wrestled Gunther on Raw, on the pay-per-view, start a feud with the guy. Instead, what is he doing? Floundering around with Seth Rollins. What is Seth Rollins doing? A whole bunch of Nathaniel. Nothing. Again, I ask, what is CM Punk's goal? What is his point? What is he doing here? How are we supposed to relate to this dude when we don't know what his pathway is? So, okay, he loses to Seth Rollins at WrestleMania and Roman Reigns as well. Got it. So now what does he do? He loses again at Saturday night's main event. Every time this motherfucker loses, I think we're more than 7 minutes into this. After every time this motherfucker loses, he just comes out and cuts promos, whining. Again, completely miscasted. Why are you dealing with these dudes? You're the same person that said when Seth Rollins lost the title, you said, I don't have any business with you anymore. You don't have anything for me. What did that mean? Seth had the title, Punk wanted the title. Seth lost the title, Punk doesn't want the title no more. He wants Seth. For what? Go after the title. Gunther has it. Go get it. Go. He's right there. Ain't nobody challenging him except for Jey Uso, except for Goldberg, except for Pat McAfee. You mean to tell me we can't get a Punk and Gunther match? Why? What does this dude want? Why is he here? When he was in AEW, clear-cut path, right to the fucking title. Clear-cut path. I'm the man. You have to raise your level to come to me. CM Punk became Ric Flair in AEW. In WWE, who the fuck is this guy? Who is he? You know who CM Punk is? I don't know who CM Punk is. I almost want a Hulk Hogan this shirt, but I'm not going to do that because I'm on camera. You know what I'm saying? On camera. YouTube got strict guidelines against things like that. So, okay. He loses a Money in the Bank qualifier match to El Grande Americano. This dude is a fucking flat out loser. You know what? Can't wear that loser's merch. He's a loser. So all he does is lose. Now, I'm not talking about in life. He just loses on wrestling all the time. Very hypocritical guy too. I forgot why he's hypocritical, but I do remember thinking to myself that he's a very hypocritical dude. And don't get me started on that whole tranny thing that he be doing with the baby blue shirts and shit. So he loses the qualifying match for Money in the Bank, and then he gets a title shot with John Cena. How we get here? So we go from loss, title match. Punk, sorry. You're the Yankees. You're the fucking Yankees. This guy remains at the top. This guy wrestles as much, if not less, than the champions. And y'all know how I feel about champions. Once you become a champion, you're pretty much on PTO. Punk wrestles less than that, as if he's the man. And then he gets a title shot in which he got absolutely destroyed by John Cena. And Cena said everything that Cena cut my promo for me. He didn't want to come back to WWE. Allegedly. He would never wrestle in Saudi Arabia for blood money. Allegedly. He was never the type to hold anybody back. Allegedly. And he was the best in the world. Allegedly. And then he has the nerve to come out and do a Doctor of Thugonomics John Cena impersonation, which was horrible. And it also seems as though, I don't know if they're giving this dude a script now, but it also seems like his promos are awful now. And not just in the sense of the substance of the promos are awful, because they are. They are. But it's like now he doesn't even know how to cut the promos. He's stumbling over words. He's bumbling, fumbling, sounding like me. It's looking real bad out there now. It's not that guy anymore. And then you know what, Punk? At some point in time, because we know that you ain't got it no more in the ring, but you know what happens when you enter the ring? The bell has to ring, bro. That bell gotta ring. And when you can't carry a match like you used to, and you got the biggest challenge that you've had since coming back in John Felix Anthony Sr. Jr. for the undisputed championship, you know what you do, Punk? You do what you always do. You lose. Whose fault is it? Is it booking or is it Punk? I don't think that this is the Punk that we saw not too long ago when he was in AEW. So we know that that guy is in there, but it's like he watered himself down to fit in the system, the same system that he wanted us to fight against. Maybe that's what makes him a hypocrite. He don't believe in his own message, but like he said, he's here to make money.